On the debate tonight, I'm joined in the studio by Hartosh Singhbal, political editor, Open Magazine, Saba Naqvi, political editor, Outlook, R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, chief of bureau of Varta. Also joining us this evening is Swapan Dasgupta, senior journalist and columnist. Mahesh Jetmalani represents the BJP point of view. And my first question is to Sanjay Nirupam, national spokesperson and member of parliament of the Lok Sabha. The BJP says, Mr. Nirupam, essentially you are finished. You as in the UPA. Effectively, the UPA is finished. More and more people are saying it's finished, it's a lame duck government, it will somehow maybe cobble across for the next few months. But you have entered that lame duck phase now, after the DMK's withdrawal, particularly.
No, BJP has been saying all these things for a long time. That is their basically a wish that the government should go. But still, despite their all ill wish, we are continuing in the power. We understand the compulsion of DMK and its leader, Mr. Karunanidhi, and under some compulsion they have withdrawn. But doesn't matter. They have just demanded something from the government. Whether the government can do it or not, it has to be decided later on. They are asking for a resolution to be adopted by the parliament. Now the wordings are going to be very tricky. So at the end of the day, all the political party will have to create a consensus, and then will come to the parliament. So it's still there is no problem in the coalition government. Different political parties join hand to run a government. All the political parties have their own political compulsion, their own sensitivity. So I don't think the government is finished. We are going to continue and we are going to finish our term. Complete our term, I mean.
Mr. Jetmalani, do you think the Congress is putting on a brave face?
Well, I tend to agree with Sanjay Nirupam, because I don't think ultimately Karunanidhi will call the bluff. I don't think he'll actually carry out his bluff. I don't think he'll go the whole hog. I think there'll be some compromise formula. I mean, this is all playing to the gallery, playing to his own, playing to a constituency. He's bereft of issues. His family and his party, senior party leaders face serious corruption charges in the 2G matter. So I think he needs an issue, and he's grandstanding at the moment. But I don't think he'll actually withdraw it. But then when the BJP says that the Congress is finished, it doesn't mean that its term is over. It says it's like a terminally ill patient, like a patriarch who's terminally ill, and all its allies are like heirs who are blackmailing it and saying, we won't keep you on the ventilator. We won't keep you on the ventilator if you don't give us a little bit of your estate.
Yes, but you know, Mr. Jetmalani, the people of this country don't just want to know whether the government will somehow, scrape through another 65 weeks till the general elections. They want to know how this government will survive this period, whether their government will be stable. Because Mr. Swapan Dasgupta, let me get you in next. This government now, in the current political scenario, because the DMK is going to president at 10 o'clock, is largely dependent on smaller parties with 1 or 2 seats. NPF, JDS, RJD. I mean, how many seats does Lalu have? 3? BSP has 21 and SP has 22, but they're completely undependable. Do you think the government can continue surviving strongly, effectively, Mr. Dasgupta, with these numbers?
Well, to put a rather crude analogy, I think, Arnav, what we are really debate is whether death is going to come by jhatka or it's going to follow a halal route. I think really this is at the moment, as far as the political life in this government is concerned, it's for all practical purposes over. And I think today marked the inauguration of the election season. Now, whether that election happens in November, December, or actually the government manages to stretch it till April, May of next year is a matter of some conjecture. But I am more concerned about one more thing, that you see, governments, parties and coalitions often withdraw support. Mamata Banerjee withdrew her support on the question of fuel price hike. Some others may do it on some other issues. Now, the cost of trying to retain a government, if that propels India into a misadventure, not merely the UPA into a misadventure, but India into a misadventure, then it is something worth considering. And I'm referring in particular to this proposed parliamentary
What
resolution.
misadventure? I thought the only misadventure which happens before a general election is called the Central Bureau of Investigation.
No, the real misadventure.
Like you hit the BSP before the 2004 election.
No. The real misadventure is that we are going to turn our foreign policy on its head. We are going to interfere in the internal affairs of a country. We are going to make ourselves vulnerable to all sorts of pressure in future, all because the government needs 18 or 20 MPs from the DMK. I am referring in particular not to the multilateral vote that might take place in Geneva. I am referring to this so-called proposed resolution in Parliament, which is unprecedented. It is going to really upset. This is the price the government has to pay by making India the recipient or vulnerable to every form of foreign interference in future. Because once you do it, they are going to do it. We, few days ago, as a parliament, decried the Pakistan's motion. Decried Pakistan National Assembly for its interference in the internal affairs of India. Today we cannot do the same. We can privately counsel Sri Lanka about how they should treat their Tamils, how they should not treat their Tamils. We can privately do things. We can take it to multilateral fora as the UN Human Rights Commission. But when the sovereign parliament does it, all because the government needs to be saved, all because I think that's a terrible price which we have to pay. And if that is the price we have to pay, I think the government should go.
Got your message. Swapan Das Gupta, the debates, you know, Mr. Swapan Das Gupta, Sanjay Nirupam says, I want to interrupt out there. And Mr. Nirupam, I will let you interrupt. I will, however, before you come in, I want to ask Mr. Bharti, who represents the DMK today. Mr. Bharti, please tell me, how much of this is drama? Sorry for putting it so bluntly. How much of it is drama which is being played out between you and the Congress? Because even the BJP believes that all this is just drama.
No, this is nothing. It is not at all a drama. Our political opponents are using that word as drama. Now the decision taken is final. We are no more with the UPA. We will never continue because we have been disappointed by the attitude of the Congress and the UPA.
No. So what if they pass this resolution
the party
in Parliament?
has decided and our leader has categorically said it. The resolution to be passed in the Parliament as well as in the Human Rights Commission before the UN in Geneva, the resolution should be drafted according to the decisions given by the DMK leadership to the UPA. Previously they assured us, but now they are not showing any interest to the resolution or the resolution to be passed in the Parliament. That has forced us to come out. We were having confidence.
Yes, Mr. Bharti.
That at least
one minute. Mr. Bharti, before this debate is taking an interesting turn. One side of the debate is, I want to get Sabha in on this. One side of the debate is believing, Mr. Jethmalani says all drama between the Congress and the BJP. The DMK says not drama, and they are meeting the president at 10 o'clock. Do you think it's drama, Sabha?
No, I've not thought it's drama for many hours today.
No.
I think
let them wait for another 2 days.
Arnab, let's just flash back a little bit. Remember the DMK pulled out from the Vajpayee government. A few months later there were elections. Just look back. There is a history of how the DMK acts. I think they have a the Congress is not looking attractive to regional parties right now. And so they are acting, and they couldn't have left the government on a 2G issue. It's just not an issue on which you save face. And also,
so there's history. So you are saying the DMK has walked out on the Congress?
I think 80% they cannot go back, and they've put conditions which are impossible. Though Arnab, I will disagree with your position and Shopan's position here. I wonder this whole thing about India, because if the US can have a resolution on human rights, what has made us so vulnerable that we can never raise the issue of human rights? I'm not talking about strategy right now. But there was a time when India used
But
to
Swapan
talk...
Dasgupta is only talking strategy.
There was a time when India used to take positions on moral issues. India led the non-aligned movement. India had moral positions to offer the world. So I'm not getting into the DMK's proposition right now, but in principle I'm questioning that whole theory that we can never say anything about anything going terribly wrong in any part of the world.
Well, I think, Mr. Sanjay Nirupam wanted to come in, so I'd just like to go back to him before I come to you. Mr. Sanjay Nirupam, yes, please. You wanted to respond to Swapan Dasgupta, who was telling you that don't give in. For your survival for a few more months, you will ruin India's foreign policy forever. I want you to respond directly to him, sir.
Arnab, as far as the issue of human rights violation is concerned, Government of India has always taken a stand in this regard. Today also, while our Congress President was addressing us, and she basically raised this issue that we are for the Sri Lankan Tamils, and if their human rights are being violated, the government, the party is always ready to come out in their support. So as far as this issue is concerned, and on this issue, Parliament has debated so many times. Even in this session, plight of Sri Lankan Tamils were debated in the Parliament. So on this issue, if some sort of resolution is being adopted in the Parliament, I don't think there will be any diplomatic problem on this issue.
No, you
and now the issue is which word, what type of word.
No, Mr. Nirupam, the DMK is telling you, look at Pakistan, they had the guts to pass a resolution against the hanging of Afzal Guru. Your government was leading the next day when you passed a counter resolution about non-interference in the internal affairs of a nation. Answer Swapan Dasgupta today, who is telling you, you cannot do the same thing that you were criticizing 3 days back. This is complete hypocrisy from your side for your political survival.
First of all, Arnab, government has already said on the floor of the House that it is very much open as far as the resolution is concerned. Now, with regard to Pakistan, there is a difference between Pakistan and India. Pakistan has nothing to do with our issue as far as our terror incidents are concerned, or the people who were found guilty in the terror act in India. Pakistan was always involved in the terror activities, Pakistan has always perpetrated terror activities in India. So Pakistan is an entirely different issue. Please don't equate Sri Lanka issue with the Pakistan attitude. So we are not going to accept anything which is being said by
Sanjay Nirupam, let's go. No, wait, Sanjay Nirupam, you are getting 2-3. No, Sanjay Nirupam, all Newshour viewers are simply asking one question today. Will you survive? But they are also asking what cost this country will pay for your survival. Hartosh wants to come in. Hartosh.
Look,
Hartosh Singh Bal to Sanjay Nirupam.
We've already set a precedent of this kind of oscillation over foreign policy. You know, if the government had a consistent foreign policy, they could have considered a resolution till now. They suddenly talk of a resolution when there's a regional gun to their head. We've had this happen in West Bengal when the Prime Minister went to Bangladesh. We have Narendra Modi talking of Sar Creek when this government is talking with Pakistan. So it's not just one regional alliance. The BJP is guilty. We no longer have a consistent foreign policy that is immune to domestic compulsion.
So what's your charge against the UPA?
The UPA has made this possible. It has lent itself... it is willing to bargain away every conceivable aspect of governance for survival.
Mr. Rajagopal, what would your advice be to Mr. Sanjay Nirupam? Will bending over backwards with the DMK work, or have they made up their mind?
They have made up their mind. DMK has made up their mind. Tonight, 10 o'clock, they are going to meet the president.
Yeah.
And tomorrow morning, 10:30, the DMK ministers are going to submit their resignations to the Prime Minister. Now there is no way at all. I would like to ask Mr. Sanjay Nirupam, there were zigzag policies of Congress towards LTTE, towards Tamil Eelam. Last week you attended Tamil Eelam's conference, and Priyanka Gandhi meets LTTE survivor in jail, and Madam Sonia Gandhi says no Eelam, no Eelam, no Eelam. Why this zigzag in Tamil politics? You have been vacillating, Mr. Sanjay Nirupam. You did not have a proper policy towards Sri Lanka or Sri Lankan Tamils.